bite me,"
Ethan muttered with a scowl. Parker couldn't tell if the look was due to his haircut comment or the fact that this had become his permanent resting dick face. In another lifetime, Ethan would have laughed at the comment. For Parker, it was easier to joke than face the truth. Ethan looked exhausted, and Parker's heart squeezed in his chest, feeling bad for his brother.
"Sierra and I already went over a few social media concerns that I had. Sebastian, you have Keystone under control?" "No issues,"
Sebastian said. Nighttime technology supplied high-tech security for smart buildings and state-of-the-art corporate parks, and Keystone was a multi-million-dollar defense contractor establishing a new, secure headquarters in Northern California. The same project Ethan's now-deceased wife had nearly lost for them because she'd been working with the supplier, using substandard material and pocketing the difference so she could support her drug habit. The owner, Stefan Romano, had given them a chance to fix the problems, and when they'd come through, thanks to Sebastian, he'd given Nighttime Technology the contract on other corporate headquarters he was building as well.
"Good. Parker."
Ethan met his gaze.
"I need you to go to Denver to scope out a place for our annual corporate retreat. We're going to the mountains this year. Jenna had an appointment to tour the lodge and see its amenities, but she was rushed into emergency gallbladder surgery, so she can't make it. I know it's not your normal job, but we could use someone with the knowledge of ski resorts to make a decision. That's you."
The order, not, he noticed, a request, took him off guard. Parker wasn't the scout for corporate retreats, and his brother damn well knew it. In fact, Parker hadn't been back to the slopes since he'd been hurt during the qualifying trials for the Olympics, shattering his knee and destroying any hope for the games that year. He'd competed 4 years before, when he'd been 18, and had 2 bronze medals to show for it. 4 years later came the injury, then surgery and 9 months of rehab, and he'd returned to the sport, only to be sidelined by a car accident that had broken his leg, again taking him out of competition. An accident that had caused more than damage to Parker's body. Given everything that had transpired that day, he'd been emotionally and physically broken. He hadn't had it in him to qualify against much younger skiers another 4 years later, and was forced to let his dreams and hope for the future go. The thought of returning to the mountains was emotionally terrifying.
"Hey man, I can take the flight out and handle it,"
Sebastian said, shooting Ethan a narrow-eyed glare. If Ethan was too self-absorbed to realize what he was asking of Parker, Sebastian wasn't.
"I can do it,"
Parker said, ignoring his churning stomach. Facing his fears wasn't necessarily a bad thing.
"If you're sure,"
Sebastian trailed off.
"I am."
Sierra rose and placed a hand on his shoulder, squeezing once. She also understood that what Ethan was asking wasn't as simple a request as it sounded. Ethan cleared his throat.
"You and Sebastian can go. I need a word alone with Parker."
Sierra frowned at Ethan. "I think you need the vacation," she said to him. "Your mood sucks." Without waiting for an answer, she spun on her heel and walked out. Sebastian turned to his oldest sibling.
"She's got a point, bro. We've been patient, but you need to check the attitude and fix yourself. Even I've fucking had it."
He walked out the way Sierra had gone, leaving Parker alone with Ethan.
"What is it?"
Parker asked. He had more patience for Ethan's moods because he knew what it was like to have his entire world shattered.
"The accountant red-flagged certain transactions coming out of your personal account."
Ethan picked up a folder from his desk, holding it in his hand. Anger stirred in Parker's gut.
"Why didn't Ashley bring this to me instead of you?"
Ashley, Sebastian's wife, they'd married in a small, family-only ceremony a few months ago, was a forensic accountant who had come back into their lives and later their business after nearly a decade, and was now working with Nighttime Technology.
"It wasn't Ashley who flagged the payments. It was Frank at our outside firm, and he couldn't reach you. Thought I'd just relay the information."
Parker swallowed hard. At least his family wasn't betraying him.
"It's none of your business, Ethan."
He curled his hands into tight fists. The thought of his oldest sibling, who'd been like a father to him, knowing his failures, wasn't a good one.